大家好，我是 Olive Branch Allen. So in this video, we're going to compare three scenarios. A normal diet versus a diet that is calorie restricted by 15% and OMAD, or one meal a day. In my previous video, I did talk about OMAD, so if you haven't gotten the chance, please go back and review so that you know what we're talking about in this video. So we're going to look at these three different scenarios and find out which one is the most beneficial for your health and help improve fat loss. So the overwhelming amount of literature out there says that calorie restriction is actually quite good for you. It helps you in your metabolism as well as free oxidation, the free radicals. And so when there's less of that going on in your body, the healthier you are. So it looks like calorie restriction as a whole is beneficial for the body because they did check for numerous health biomarkers such as your T3, T4 thyroid hormones, as well as your adiponectin, your leptin, and your insulin levels. And it seemed that all these markers have shown improvement with calorie restriction rather than no calorie restriction. Now, when we compare calorie restriction, about 15% reduction of your daily intake, with OMAD, or one meal a day, they found even more health benefits relating to OMAD. Overall, they did match in terms of your blood pressure, your heart rate, and as well as your blood lipid levels. But also, it's shown more benefits in OMAD by checking your triglycerides and your blood glucose levels. By doing OMAD, they also shown the candidates had better lean mass preservation, meaning they didn't lose as much muscle, as well as more body fat loss. Even after they've stopped their diets, it still have shown that they are able to lose more, maintain the fat loss. So the studies have shown that OMAD is at least as good as calorie restriction, if not better. And calorie restriction has shown to be better than no calorie restriction. And of course, this goes for the typical person living in a city where they're eating a pretty not so good diet and they're quite overweight and they do need to lose fat. Then these are the phases where you can actually find some health benefits. So there is an incident called starvation mode. When you eat less food than normal, your body starts to think that it's starving because you're not getting the normal amount of calories. So what it does is it tries to retain fat. It lowers your resting metabolic rate so that it can preserve energy. Of course, we're trying to burn the fat and we're trying to lose the energy, so we don't actually want our bodies to go into starvation mode. And the studies do show that calorie restriction of any sort does start to trigger starvation mode, whereas OMAD doesn't. So it seems like a longer period of just zero eating or fasting actually can circumvent starvation mode and then feeding, even though you'll be feeding a lot more than you would normally do in one particular meal because you have to make up for all the calories that you didn't eat in that day. The net for that day of calorie consumption is still negative, which is what you want. Now, these are some people that should not follow this type of a program because it does have some risks involved. And those are people who have a history of eating disorders like anorexia or bulimia. Also people who are normally underweight, who are already quite low in body fat, or malnourished, so they're not eating the right things. Maybe they're only eating white rice, for example, then they're not getting enough vitamins and minerals. Children and adolescents also shouldn't be doing this because they're actually in a state of growing, so they need more calories than usual. Women who are pregnant or breastfeeding also should not because they're actually trying to give off more nutrition to maybe a fetus or a baby, so they don't want to be starving themselves. As well as women who are trying to conceive. Fasting can actually signal to the body that they don't have an environment of abundance, and so their reproduction organ might actually start to slow down. Other people who shouldn't be doing this are people who trigger cravings easily, who really crave a lot of certain bad foods, and by depriving them of eating normally, they actually go overdrive and they consume a lot more, overconsumption. And so those people who are more on the extreme ends should probably not do this, or may require a lot of guidance, or people on medication or with serious medical illnesses. Again, I'm not a doctor, so I do recommend that if you are interested in trying this out, to do seek doctors for their professional advice on the matter. So that's it, guys. In summary, I do want to state that just on what the studies have shown is that calorie restriction has shown health benefits than people who are not on a calorie restricted diet. And furthermore, people on a one meal a day has shown even more benefits to your health. And so that's just what the data shows. If you do want to try it, I do want to stress the importance of learning all about the material so that you can do this in a more knowledgeable state and seek out a doctor for their professional advice as you go along with this. That's it, guys. I hope you found this useful. As always, please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.